We're taught to think the 19th century and late 18th century French revolutionary heresy of political centralization is the only way of organizing society. The United States was an experiment in saying no to that. Because the United States, if you look in the Constitution, is never once referred to in the singular. It's never referred to in the singular. It's always referred to in the plural. Because that's what we are. What makes us great is not that we're a great big country. The Soviet Union was a great big country. China under Mao was a great big country, and tens of millions of people died. That doesn't make you great. And there are tiny little places on the globe that are wonderful and great places to live. Renaissance Florence was a wonderful place to live. It's not the size. It's the fact that we're a collection of societies, that we haven't yielded everything to the center, that we have retained corporate bodies like states that have powers of resistance, but those powers have lain dormant for too long. And so now it is time, I suggest, that we have the political imagination, not, thank goodness, to have to think of something from scratch, but to have the presence of mind and the courage to look back to our own tradition and say, no, this is not the way we're supposed to live. We are not supposed to live with over 300 million people accepting the infallible judgments of some king. No, we are supposed to be a free people. The world is full of centralized states. Germany, France, England, everywhere. The world has enough of those. Let's be the exception. Let's be the exception for liberty and be the beacon to the world to reverse this trend and bring back both liberty and civilization to the United States and to the world. Thank you very much.
And that, my friends, is what we mean when we say American exceptionalism. That's right. Think of your states. It has been set up so they are almost, not exactly, almost like a standalone country. Here I am in Florida. We have our own executive branch, legislative branch, judiciary branch. We have our city police. We have our sheriff offices for our counties. We have our state troopers. We have our own school districts. Yes, this was set up this way by our founding fathers. So we would not come under, because it is bound to happen. No matter how great you set things up, it is bound to happen. A central government that gets bigger and bigger, more bloated every day, more despotic every day, more power hungry every single day. And before you know, you get to have something like the rest of the world. Whether it's the kings and the queens or the emperors, or what we refer to as despotic countries. And don't think only of these third world countries. With our definition here in the United States, when I say our definition, I'm talking about constitutionalist Americans, okay? What we see in the EU is not anything near what we got, what we have, what we want here in the United States. It is original, it is unique. At least now, okay? You look around and you won't find a single country in this world, not one, set up the way we have our nation set up, based on our Constitution, based on dividing powers to prevent that kind of central despotism. Now, this video is actually an update video. So yes, I'm going to be talking about a few of these really important facts, issues, but those of you who have been following me, you know that I have been telling you it is time it has been the time for the past few years, but especially now, to go local, to focus on our states. As Tom Woods emphasizes all the time, repeatedly, because yes, it needs to be emphasized. Forget about Washington, D.C. Don't waste your time, don't waste your energy on chasing the Congress there, on chasing the Supreme Court there, on chasing various agencies within the executive branch in Washington, D.C. Don't! I think by now we all see it, don't we? It has gotten, I'm talking about the Fed, I'm talking about the executive branch, legislative branch, the judiciary branch, Washington, D.C. It has gotten so bloated, so corrupted. And in many ways, I'm going to say so invaded, okay, externally invaded, the New World Order, deep state, that at this point of time, at this stage, it's been going on for a while, it's been building up towards this. And to some people, it's been obvious for many decades. But the time has arrived because it has reached that level where we need to say, give up. Consider it irrelevant. Focus on our states. Focus on our local government. The only path to salvation. What kind of salvation? Maintaining, regaining, and maintaining our liberties. Our liberties guaranteed under our Constitution. All these totally irrelevant today in Washington, D.C. That's the time, and those of you who've been following me, I've been telling you that since I moved to Florida, and especially in the past few months, I have been putting all my focus, almost all my focus on local activism for our liberties that have been under siege. Sure, after 9/11, with 9/11, it has been severely under siege. But with this COVID craze, it has reached a level we have never had before, to this degree. Insanity. Insane. And no, we can't do anything about the central government, the feds. We can't, and we won't. It would be a waste of time, a great waste of time. And in fact, if we are busy chasing that kind of a goal that is not achievable because it is too late right now at this stage, meanwhile, we will be losing what we've got in our states locally. So I have been focusing on this, and especially with these crises and with this severe code red alert that is blinking non-stop, saying we are turning into slaves' dogs. Masks mandated. What? Mandated vaccination. Mandated flu shots, let me put it that way, which will be indefinite and unending. They're going to be adding to the number of shots we should be taking, getting mandated shots to function in society, to travel. So with all these things, seeing the small businesses, mom and pop shops being destroyed right and left, thousands of them around our country, don't you think that red alert code has been blinking. The clock has been ticking. It's ticking very fast. We don't have time. Back to my activism in Florida. I've been saying it for the past few months. And now today, I'm ready to announce that we are formalizing it. Our activism for our Constitution, for our liberties, to defend them. We have a group here in Southwest Florida that I have been with, and our group started with 4 or 5 of us, then grew to be 8, 9, then 15, then 20. Now we have a core group of at least 30 to 40 people here in Southwest Florida, covering Fort Myers and Naples and Marco Islands. And in the past few days, since I have been putting this out via YouTube, on Twitter, etc., I have been getting emails, direct messages from other people in Florida who are in different regions. We have a group in Jacksonville, and there's about 4 or 5 of them just in the past few days that we started networking with. There is a group in Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach area. And we are looking to reach out to others in Central Florida so that we can cover at least 5 chapters. Northwest, Northeast, Central, Southeast, and Southwest. And look inward and say, it starts, and especially right now, the only path is resisting and defeating these assaults on our freedom, on our liberties, on our economy. I would go as far as saying the attacks are against human rights. They are human rights violations. When you're subject to carrying like pet passports with your shots, flu shots, the ones that expire, you have to renew. If you want to function, if you want to do this and this and this and this, pretty much anything to live, you must get this. And wear these useless masks, proven useless masks up to here, in order to take care of the daily needs, almost anything outside our doors. Now they are even carrying it further, saying you should be wearing these at home. You must mandate it. This is going to be the law of the land for the United States. We have been networking. And I know I said, last time I was talking about organizing, I said I really would prefer joining some group and do my part, right? I don't want to start and take over doing, because it gets pretty time consuming and tedious, but it is incumbent upon us to do this. It is not something that like a hobby, you know, yeah, if I have time, I do it. If you care about your liberties, if you care about our Constitution, if you care about your employment, if you care about your business, if you care about your children or your grandchildren, if you care about human integrity, you know that this is not something like an option. In my last report, in my last episode, I talked about the 10th Amendment. You know, the amendment that the liberal academia, the academics practicing there, pretend it doesn't exist. They always hop over it. You know, it goes from like 8th Amendment and then suddenly you go to like number 11 or 12. The power of nullification. If you haven't watched my previous video, take the time, tune in, watch it. The only path to regain and maintain our liberties, the power of nullifications granted to our states. Now, somehow I ended up being the person in this wonderful group of activists, including others in the other parts of the state, Florida state. I got a new Twitter handle for our group. It is Florida Nullifies and at F Nullifies. That is our Twitter page. It just went up yesterday morning. I set up a new YouTube account for Florida Nullifies. I got the domain name and we should have a simple initial website up soon. It will be FL, that is for Florida, flnullifies.com. And I'm preparing this email opt-in database that we are going to plug in very soon because we want to gather hundreds of thousands, millions of people in Florida. It's a great state, okay? The great state of Florida. Organize quickly, methodically, but speedily because the clock is ticking. We don't have much time. And make sure that Florida remains constitutional in order to have our liberties. We are going to make sure that it's not destroyed. It may be late for some of the other states. You may agree or disagree with me. But we have great things happening in Florida. The level of damage, the invaders, the bloated, despotic central government and their pressure has inflicted compared to, okay, everything is relative, other states has been much less here in Florida. Thanks, many thanks to great people in Florida resisting, standing firm. In fact, I have a very positive development to report on, okay? We have a representative here named Anthony Sabatini, okay, in Florida Congress, House Representative. He just, less than 2 weeks ago, filed a new bill, HB 6003, that says no to mandatory vaccination, mandatory flu shot in Florida. Now the Congress is going to be back in session here first week in March, I believe around March 3rd or March 4th. And we in Florida, our group, my network here from all over Florida, we are going to see that through. We are going to see that it becomes enforceable. We're going to make sure it passes the Congress, both the House and the Senate. We are going to support Representative Anthony Sabatini. I'm going to include the link. Those of you in Florida, put this on your radar. Of course, I'm going to be talking about this a lot. And yes, we're going to be going to Tallahassee when the time comes. We want to make sure that we have this. We have a list of, very short list of our initial plan, objective, agenda. What are we asking for? What are we demanding? What are we going to get? Because we are going to get. The only thing that can stop us from getting this will be us not doing it. Right? It's our state. And we are residents of this great state. And obviously, there are some constitutionalist, real American representatives here. We are lucky. I'm lucky. I'm so glad I moved to Florida. I want to keep it this way. You know how they go about doing things, right? You know, during the elections, I lived for 22 years in Northern Virginia, okay, in Alexandria, Virginia. And I kind of watched it getting destroyed every year a little bit, you know, with the federal government in the area, all the intelligence and defense contractors and subcontractors and sub-subcontractors moving in from all over the country, and their lobbyists all settling there, and the federal government getting more and more bloated there. I saw it change before my eyes, especially in a very speedy way after 9/11. And initially I left. I said, I can't live in this place. I mean, they say Las Vegas is the sin city. They haven't seen or known any real sin. You want to see sin? The real sin city is right there, that whole area. Anyhow, I'm watching the electoral maps during the elections, the nights that I stayed awake till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And you look at Virginia, right? This entire big, wonderful, once upon a time state of Virginia. You know, the place where Jefferson was, right? Thomas Jefferson. So you're looking at all these 95% of the state, right? Blinking red, all red, with the votes results for President Trump. All it took, there it came, Northern Virginia, most of them transplants from Massachusetts and California, you know, all the defense and intelligence and the related people, and wrote it off, the rest of the state. I don't want to see that happening here in Florida. I got a glimpse of it when I went to Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale last week. I said, night and day. I mean, what is this difference? Well, they said, look, these are actually not people of Florida. These are the wealthier segments from Connecticut and New York, etc., who moved here, have a second house here, so they haven't really moved here. But with them, they brought their despotic central government-loving attitude, and they have been pushing and pressuring that area to change per their stand, which is stand against liberties, Constitution. So I was thinking the other day, I said, actually, as their states being so federal government loving, getting destroyed, the businesses getting destroyed, their economy getting destroyed, not having a life because you can't go to restaurants, they're all locked down and shut down. They're escaping, coming to their homes here in Florida, right? Because it's hell. It's like hell to live there. I wouldn't want to be there. You would think they would come here with a great respect, the great appreciation of Florida keeping it sane, right? Keeping it sane, because they have nothing but insanity there. They are destroyed. Look at Oregon, look at Portland. Look at San Francisco. Look at New York City. No. They come here with this attitude saying that we want to change you, Florida, because we want you to turn into hell like where we came from. What kind of people, what kind of psychopaths would do that? They are wearing their visors, they're wearing their masks all the way up here, pinched, and they are sending letters. They are, they don't do anything. They don't work, most of these people. They have nothing to do. So they are sending probably money as well to the politicians here, to the government officials here, including the governor, and pressuring the government here to do what they have been doing, creating hell, to lock down, to make forced vaccinations. Now, what kind of logic is that? The reason I'm bringing this up, as they are pouring in, right? Like, oh my God, let's move fast. I don't want the landscape, political landscape, the status of liberties to change in Florida. Where else are we going to go? I mean, come on. You're looking at South Dakota, you're looking at Florida, Wyoming, and hey, we have the climate here. We're not going to let that. We're not going to let that happen. So, our first agenda for nullification, our 10th Amendment right, given to us so that we would exercise it, put it in action during situations like this, circumstances like this. Our founding fathers foresaw this. They put it there and they said, we're going to give you the path, the tool, the right to make sure you protect yourself, defend yourself, maintain your constitution and liberties when the time comes and your central despotic government starts attacking you and mandate insanity. That's why they put it there. What are we asking for? In our first one, which we are going to accomplish. We are going to accomplish between now until the Congress here in Florida is back in session first week in March. 3 things. No, nullify any attempt, whether external from the federal government, they're going to try, they're going to bypass the states' rights. Since when they have respected our Constitution and liberties? It's just the opposite. But there are government agencies and there are factions here who want to do that. So, nullify any attempt. Mandated vaccination, forced vaccination, mandated vaccination, nullify. Mandated lockdown to bankrupt our nation, bankrupt our state, bankrupt our businesses here that keep this state's economy alive. Nullify mandated lockdown and nullify mandated forced masks. Basically, we are asking our government here, our Congress in Florida, to nullify mandated insanity, because it's insanity. It's insane. You don't reason with insane. You can't. Try. Go to any mental health institution and try to reason with the insane people there, okay? Legally declared insane. So, we are not talking with them. We're not going to negotiate with them. We are looking to our own government, the valid, the legit ones, the state governments, our local governments. And we are demanding that they nullify mandated insanity on COVID. When it comes to Florida, I hope to see that exercised by other states. I know there will be other states that will do that, because we have still many states that have remained American and constitutionalist. South Dakota is one, right? So no to mandated insanity. No to mandated insanity. We nullify mandated insanities between now till first week in March. That's what we're going to do. I'm doing it with my group here in Naples, Florida. We are covering Southwest Florida. And I am going to support, help, walk other people organizing their chapters. You people, those of you from Florida, and network join us. So we cover the entire state here in Florida, Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, Central Florida. I want hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of signed petition. Not, I signed it, here it is, go. Sign and get ready to demand it and put it in action. You know, it takes only 2 seconds to sign. We have work to do, right? Yes, Florida nullifies. We are going to make sure that Florida nullifies. Florida will nullify mandated insanity. And it's bound to have a domino effect. It's going to happen. It's going to be a model. It's going to be a model because we are going to make it the model state. And you're going to see the domino effect. Just watch. It's going to start happening in all the other constitutional states. As I said, now somebody took it wrong saying there are those of us in New York State, there are those of us in California who hate this insanity. Don't write us off. I am not. I am not writing you off. I gave you the example in Virginia. There are millions of people in the state of Virginia, great state of Virginia, right? Well, unfortunately, Northern Virginia, those mega cities established there, thanks to the bloated, corrupt federal government and the transplants, right? They've destroyed it. Is it permanent? I don't think so. You know why I'm saying I don't think so? And now it may take 10 years. It may take 15 years. I want you to think of it as almost like a free market, you know, the invisible hand of the free market. Because as more and more people escape, because that's more like it, they are escaping places like Portland in Oregon and New York State and Massachusetts. There are a lot of people who are escaping. They're like, let's get the heck out of it. We don't have safety or security. Hello, BLM. Hello, Nullify police. They don't have even police force with any power to do anything. They have been neutered, right? Businesses are being destroyed right and left. Property prices are going down. Who would want to move there, right? Take a look at the migration. Take a look at the migration. And then think, if we maintain this, our sane constitutional states, thriving economically, having liberties, quality of life, what kind of a life is that? What kind of a life is that they want to live? Like caged, rabid animals. More and more people are going to get out. And eventually, with some of the remaining good people there, they are bound to change their way and return, come back to our constitutional United States of America when it comes to practice. How long is it going to take? Maybe 10, 15, or 20 years, but it will happen. And with that, at that point, we can start seeing the federal government changing, shrink it, get rid of 80% of it. It's nothing but infestation. They are like tumors. Get rid of the tumors. The only thing you can do to stop the cancer from killing you is get rid of the tumor. So the time will come for that. So now I'm not saying, oh, all the people in those states are stupid and bad and they are pro-mandated insanity. I'm not saying that. So I'm sorry if I was misunderstood. I'm sorry if I didn't articulate it right. All I'm saying is I gave up. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Look at the ratio. Okay, it's a matter of ratio and everything is relative. These things are facts. Now I can be Pollyanna and say, yeah, 15% of people in Oregon, eastern Oregon, east side of the Cascade Mountains, will overcome this when 85% is begging for more mandated insanity while they're trying to escape. Psychos. But enough of psychos, enough of the federal government. Right now, almost, because I'm not talking about secession or anything. Who needs secession? We already have all the tools with nullification to have a great life in our states. with our liberties intact, with our economy prospering, we don't need secession. And we will have ally states because it's going to have domino effect, right? Why am I saying that? I'm asking those of you in Florida who truly believe in our Constitution, our liberties, and defending it, incumbent upon us. Nullifying what's happening is incumbent upon us. If we are dedicated to our Constitution, if we are nationalists, if we love our country, which the law of the land in this country, the ultimate, the only real one, is the Constitution, says you must nullify any attempt to take away, to override your rights guaranteed under this Constitution we have put in place. Those of you who believe this, those of you who are committed to do your part as Americans in Florida, get in touch with me. Please get in touch with us. Join us. We have a lot to do. Now, I'm going to have more episodes coming. Initially, I will post some of them at my Newsbud and then mirror it on my new YouTube channel for Florida Nullifies. But I'm also asking you to go and follow me, follow our activism, follow our group, Florida Nullifies group, activist group, on that channel as well. Also, I'm going to repeat it again. If you spend any time on Twitter, follow us at Florida Nullifies. It is F capital N capital ULLIFIES. F Nullifies, okay? And I will put more agenda items in terms of things we need to do, because now that we are getting more established, formalized in terms of organizational structured operations, because you have to go about these things methodically, you know. You can't just go and say, you know, initially we were doing that. We were going, sitting in some cafe, talking, saying what can be done, what should we be doing, how can we expand our group. But now it is beyond and above that, okay? We're gonna need, and we do need, not that we are going to need, we need technical expertise. We need volunteers with technical expertise, because some of our meetings we have to be able to also live stream and have different chapters tune in and connect with us, website management, email database, and our activities with Congress here in Florida, but also our local government. I had great responses coming from my city council members, including the mayor of Marco Island, responding to our petition, to our letter, saying, yes, we are with you. We are against mandated insanity. So in order to organize other chapters to do similar things, okay, with their local government, city councils, there's a list of things that we need to put in place, and we need to do it quickly. And so we are going to need people who are willing to volunteer to take small chunks here and there, and that way together we can, okay? Excited? I am excited. Because, again, in my last episode, I repeatedly said that this is a guaranteed path to success when it comes to saving our nation. It starts with saving our local government, saving our state first, okay? It gets to be so overwhelming to look at the entire country and say, WTF we're gonna do? We can't do anything, we are so little. No. We can do every one of these items that I talked about, in defeating mandated insanity, all of that guaranteed through nullification here in Florida. Together we can. I'm going to include the links on the description part of this YouTube and also the other YouTube channel, the new one. This is going to be the first post there. So please take a few seconds. Those of you in Florida, join me, this new Twitter page for Florida Nullifies. Follow and join and subscribe to also the YouTube channel, Florida Nullifies. I'm going to put my new email address for this activist network, activist group. So those of you in Florida, if you want to opt in, and please opt in, you must opt in. You should opt in. We would love for you to opt in and join us. We want to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of activists, not maybe millions of activists. And let's get this done. Let's defeat mandated insanity. Florida will nullify mandated insanity. We don't care whatsoever about anybody's gender, race, political affiliation, political party, none of religion. We are Americans. We love and value our liberties. The liberties they are set to take away. By now, you must be all convinced of that. I've been saying this since 9/11, but by now, I know all of you would agree that that's exactly what they want to do, and that's exactly what they are doing. If you believe that, join us. Let us do it. Together we can. Thank you all. This is Sibel Edmonds, connecting with you from Naples, Florida.